my mom came into the room and she's like, look at my phone. And then I couldn't see it, so I had to look at mine. I'm like, oh.
I can't bet against Tom Brady. I have the Bucks winning 31-27 and Tom Brady going to his 10th championship.
Yeah, and I really think the Clippers' chance to win the championship was last year. And they were up 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets.
Chris Paul is one of the most underrated players of all time. He's been the best player wherever he goes, and that includes with the Rockets.
You said you can't bet against Tom Brady, and as a Cowboys fan and what I just did last weekend, I am not going to bet against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. I mean, that's all I can really say. There's two of the top 5 players in the league, and they are very, very good.
Hello, I'm Taylor Hearn, and you listen to The Outsiders' Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week, and free agency is here, Austin. Your team has already made some moves. I doubt the Cowboys do anything till 3 months from now. So let's get into the excitement of this offseason where you do have a Super Bowl MVP entering the free agent market.
Yeah, and he's going to be a very sought-after guy, I feel like, especially because – not just because of the season that he had with the Super Bowl MVP, but he's been very productive. I am a little bit concerned about his injury issues, but I think that he'll be fine. Do you want to start off with where you have him going?
Yeah, we can do that. It is tough because you do have that running back conversation of you mentioned his injuries and just how much you're going to pay a running back. But I think it's great for a running game is great for a young quarterback and especially a veteran coach that is needs to do well to stop. And that's why I have Kenneth Walker going to the Tennessee Titans.
You and I both have him going to a team with a very high draft pick. I have him going to the Raiders. The Raiders have talked about
that's fair.
They want a second running back next to Genty. What did Clint Kubiak just do last year? I think they would pay it. If Kubiak, I mean, they just got rid of Max Crosby. They're building for the future. But I think that they may make that move.
Yeah, I almost had him going to the Raiders, and I'm curious what to do with their money. They traded Max Crosby, who's on a big contract. This is a rebuild. Kind of what are you going to invest in? And I'm curious what they would do with the running back. I could see them going bargain shopping with the running back, but Walker would make sense given his history with Kubiak. So I'll go to my next one, the Raiders. I bring them up because I have the Raiders signing Taylor Decker because that's an investment for their high draft pick, which is most likely going to be a quarterback.
You're going to think I'm lying, but I had Taylor Decker going to the Titans. So we just
That's awesome.
O-line help is definitely a need for the Titans. And I think they address that in the draft, but I think they also add Taylor Decker. So we have those 2 picks completely flipped, which is kind of crazy. In some of the ones we do where we have we've done MLB top 10s at each position. When we have a guy at 5'4" or 4'6", or we flip some of those guys, that's not that hard to do. But to flip, there's 32 teams in the NFL. To have those 2 flips is kind of funny.
It is really funny. And teams that I don't know how active they're going to be in free agency.
We both have them being active. So
we do.
We'll see.
We do. All right, I'll let you choose the next one player.
Let's go Trevon Diggs. I have Trevon Diggs going to the Rams.
I almost had that. But I have him going to the other LA team, and that's the Chargers.
Okay. That makes sense. I just think that the Rams are kind of the type of team that would pick him up.
Yeah, I agree. And it's really tough given his injury history and just kind of how he has attacked it. I think of his tackling. His tackling is just non-existent. And yes, he is a corner, but you still got to have to show a willingness for tackling. And I don't know if it's there. So I could see like a guy like Jim Harbaugh. And getting him going and having some luck there, at least trying it. But the Rams could also be a good pick as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. Who do you want to choose next?
So I'm curious, Stephon Diggs. Where do you have him going?
I have okay. This one was harder because he's been released. There's obviously the charges, the assault charges. We don't know necessarily if anything's going to come with that, or if those charges have been dropped, or what's really that whole ordeal. I have Stephon Diggs going to the Seahawks.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, there is that the off the field issues that we don't know about. I was wondering if you were going to have him going to the Rams as well with Trevon Diggs.
I thought about it. I was so close to having it, but they already had Devontae Adams. They already have Puka. I just don't know if he wants to be a wide receiver 3. With how Cooper Kupp played last season, Stephon Diggs was better. And I can see him being okay with being the wide receiver 2 behind a guy like JSN, where now with Cooper Kupp, you have a very good wide receiver 3. Obviously, Shaheed's hard to put into perspective. He's also a free agent, I believe. But
yes,
even if you bring him back, he's not like your primary wide receiver 2. He's a deep threat, in my opinion. It's kind of like Jameson Williams light, but I think Diggs will go to the Seahawks. That's my prediction.
that would be interesting. I don't have him going to where I have Trevon as well. I have him going to the Kansas City Chiefs because I think they just need any type of wide receiver help. And yes, they may go after it in the draft, but I think they're trying to compete now, and you don't know what Rashee Rice is going to do. Sky Moore, or no, I'm thinking of. Oh man, I can't think of the young wide receiver. I don't know why I said Sky Moore. That's the second round pick.
Rashee Rice?
No, it's the Texas Longhorn.
Oh, Xavier Worthy?
Xavier Worthy. They're still figuring that out. I don't know what happens with Rashee Rice. So I could see Stephon Diggs going there to chase a championship, but he could also fight for the number 1 spot as wide receiver.
Yeah, it'll be hard with Rice there, but let's go to Kyler Murray. I know we've talked about it in a Kyler Murray video. I said 3 names. You said 2 or 3 names. I have him going to the Jets.
I almost had it, and then I did see a rumor of Frank Reich, who is offensive coordinator there, possibly wanting to reunite with Carson Wentz. And I did wonder about Aaron Glenn, kind of what does he want in the quarterback, and does he want a project? And how would Kyler Murray do in that sense? Because I think there are some questions about his leadership and what he wants to do. So to me, I had him going to the Vikings because I could see them taking a risk on him. And Kevin O'Connell is more established as a coach right now and has set the locker room, while Glenn is starting to build that locker room and set it.
Yeah, I don't have that happening because I have Kirk Cousins going to the Vikings.
Okay, all right. I thought about that. I'm wondering, it would be cool if he went back to the Vikings, but instead I have him going to the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay. That makes sense. I can see that happening.
And I think the Vikings would make sense with him because he's got his money. But I think there is a legitimate quarterback competition in Indianapolis where the Vikings, there might be a quarterback competition between Cousins and McCarthy. But to me, the Colts don't have any young players. It's really, they're trying to get Daniel Jones. But I could see them going at Daniel Jones and Cousins and arguing and just having another competition.
Okay. Who do you want to go to next?
So looking at it now, I am curious. I have David Njoku going to the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, I thought about that, but they have Aronde Gadsden now, so I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm going to have him going to the Steelers. The Steelers just released Jonnu Smith, and I think he stays in the division and to a bitter rival of the Browns and goes to the Steelers.
I almost had him going there. That was a debate, but I was curious with Jonnu Smith, but also kind of with Njoku, where he would go. So, all right, that leaves a lot of wide receivers and some defensive ends. I'll let you choose.
I want to save one of these guys for last. You'll probably get it eventually, but I have Khalil Mack going back to Las Vegas. Well, I guess he was never played in Las Vegas, but I have him going to the Raiders. Let's put it like that.
Okay, I almost had that, but I have him going to the Baltimore Ravens.
So the Ravens add Max Crosby and Khalil Mack.
Yeah, I think, and that would make sense because his former defensive coordinator with the Chargers is now the Ravens head coach. And I think one of the problems with the Ravens was their defensive pressure. And I think the Max Crosby is a sign of, okay, we want to fix that now, capitalize on that window. And that's why I think they go after Mac as well.
Okay. Who's our next guy?
Our next guy, I'm going to go Deebo Samuel. He was good with the Commanders. I think there are some questions about his role, but I have him going to the Bears, who just traded DJ Moore. And I could see them trying to have a role with Deebo Samuel in kind of a similar role to DJ Moore.
Or at least I was very close to having him go there. I was so close. But I kept thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. I'm like, no, I don't see it. I have him going to the Panthers. I think the Panthers try to add something, a weapon for Bryce Young. And I think Deebo, because he's a very short route guy, he also has some rushing capabilities, is a good tertiary target. You have Ted McMillan, who's your primary wide receiver one, but you also have some other good receivers around him. Xavier Legette played good at the end of the year. Jalen Coker, I think, would be a very good deep threat. But you need the third guy, the short route guy. And I think Deebo fulfills that.
Yeah, and I believe Deebo, it may have been shown in wide receiver, he is friends with Legette.
Yes.
Because Legette went to South Carolina. So that could make sense.
Yep. Both of them went to South Carolina, yeah. So that's where I have him going.
Okay. I'm curious. I think we're down to the two, so I'll let you choose which one you want to say for last, and then we'll go with the other one.
Yeah, so I'll go Trey Hendrickson next. You may not like this. You may like this. I have him going to the Cowboys.
I wouldn't hate it. I think with the Cowboys, I was against them trading for Max Crosby because those first-round picks are so rare or so needed right now, especially two of them. Because you could take two players or you could trade down from one, gain a second back. Because after those two first-round picks, they don't have a second or third. And I think that's troublesome when there are so many holes on the defense. But I think Hendrickson would be great. The Cowboys are shifting to a 3-4. So I think Quinnen, Kenny Clark, and Osa would be the three down linemen. But I'm fine adding Trey Hendrickson in there. They can always add pressure. They need pressure, but it's really they got to work on the back end, and that's where I see them using those first-round picks as well as getting some inside linebackers.
Yeah. Did you say where you had him going?
No, I did not. I was just talking about that. I have him going to the New England Patriots.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, we have one more guy.
Okay.
Mike Evans. Where do you have him going?
So I just can't see him out of a uniform. I was trying to see, is there kind of a situation where he's like, I don't want to go back to Tampa Bay, but I couldn't find that, so I have him returning to Tampa Bay.
I have him going to the Patriots. They lose Stephon Diggs. Drake May needs a wide receiver one. Last year, after Diggs, it kind of got a little bit shaky, whether it's Kayshon Boutte or some of the other guys that were around there, Matt Collins. It just kind of basically Hunter Henry or TreVeyon Henderson or Ramondre Stevenson were some of those guys that were getting those targets. I think they need a wide receiver one. I think Mike Evans still has it, especially when he's fully healthy. I have him going to New England.
And then I realized we forgot Aaron Rodgers. Or was that the guy you wanted to say for last?
I realized that we forgot him too. Do you have him playing next year?
No, I have him retiring.
Okay, I have him going back to the Steelers. I think that Mike McCarthy may be the reason he stays.
Which is really funny to me because he didn't like McCarthy and was tired of that offense. And that's what led to LaFleur being a major part of getting LaFleur to Green Bay.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a crazy turn of things.
It would be a crazy turn of things, but also Evans being in another uniform, doing the opposite of Tom Brady, going from Tampa Bay to New England, where Brady went from New England to Tampa Bay. So let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.